Now let's see the tuple in Python. So first we have studied about string, we studied about the numeric data type, we studied about list, that is the sequence data type. Now we are going to create a new file. Inside that we'll be studying about the other sequence type, that is tuple. Tuple is also a built-in data type and it comes under the sequence type. Sequence type. So tuples are going to use the symbol with the circular or the round brackets we are going to use for tuple. That is optional. We may write the brackets or you can ignore it also. And tuple are also indexed because the items in the tuple are going to have a proper location. They are ordered. In which order you are defining, it is going to retain that order. They are immutable. Now what is the meaning of immutable? You cannot change the items that is present inside the tuple. Whatever the item is inside the tuple, you have, once the tuple is defined, you cannot update the value inside the tuple. So let's see the ways of creating a tuple. So there are different ways of creating a tuple. Let's say the creating a tuple in different ways. First way is that define, let's say we have tuple t1 and inside that I am defining one value, that is 12. Now this 12 is not going to be, as I said, we don't need to include the round brackets. In tuple we are going to use round brackets. Unlike list, it is not taken as a tuple because 12 is integer value. We have to put the end, a comma at the end, so that it is going to be treated as a tuple. Now after putting the comma, when I run the code, then it says that this is a tuple. So this is the first way you can create a tuple. Now let's say again I am defining a tuple, that is t1, name is the same, and inside t1 you can use a bracket also. Okay, and let's say there are three values and I want to print the whole tuple t1. So in this way, this is also the tuple. Okay, and if I want to print only the tuple, so I will not be including the type function and run the code. So this is the tuple. So order is not changed, 12, 13, 14. Therefore it is mean that the ordered property is actually satisfied. After that we have other way of defining the tuple, that you don't mention here t1 is equals to 12, 13, 14. You don't mention here the brackets, and then also it is considered as a tuple. So now the t1 becomes tuple and writing the round brackets is optional. You may write it or you may not write it. Just for the sake of syntax, clear syntax, you can include the round brackets. We have also seen list and we know that there is a function, that is method. Okay, in list we also have the method, that is length, and that also work with tuple. So you can also find out what is the length of the particular tuple. So here I want to check the length of this tuple and I want to check the length of t1 and I want to print the length, whatever is the length here, the brackets, closing bracket. Now it says 3 because 12, 13 and 14, there are 3 items in the tuple, so therefore length of the tuple is 3. We can also do the same thing with list also and with string also. It is going to check what is the length of the particular string value, list value or tuple value with the help of len function. We can also create an empty function, empty tuple. So the empty tuple can be created in this way. Let's say I am creating a tuple t1 is equals to nothing is inside this t1. Now this is the empty tuple, but remember you cannot update and you cannot add any item inside this t1 because as I said t1 is immutable. The tuple is immutable. Immutable means you cannot update the values inside the tuple, you cannot add any item. Once you have added, you cannot change the item inside the tuple. And I am going to run the code. So it is going to print the empty tuple here because we have not added any item. In case if I want to add any item to the tuple, we can use the concept of converting the tuple into the list. So what I can do here, I can convert this tuple t1 into the list. Suppose we have a tuple t1 in which we want to update the item. So tuple t1 has three items: 1 2 3 4 5 python and 5 6 7 8 9. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to convert this tuple t1 into the list, and then again we are going to update that list. Since tuple is immutable, so we are converting that into the list and then update that list, and then we are going to convert that back into the tuple. That is our motive. Since tuple is immutable, we are converting that into the list and then make changes in the list and then convert that list back to the tuple. This is our concept. So L1 is the list in which we have converted the tuple t1 into the list using the list function, and then in the list we are updating Python to Java. At the first index we have Python in tuple t1, so we are converting that into the Java. We are making changes in the list only, and then back to from the list we are going to convert that into the tuple. The list one L1 is going to be converted back into the tuple t1, and then we are going to print the tuple. So this is the way how we can update the tuple.